I thank the committee for its indulgence and welcome questions.
Thanks very much, Secretary. Admiral, you've got the call.
Chair and Senators, good morning. Admiral David Johnston, the Chief of the Defence Force. The retention and recruiting of our workforce remains a priority. The Australian Defence Force offers an appealing, rewarding and unique career choice. Defence continues to explore opportunities to attract the widest possible range of applicants, and we are committed to investing in our people and our community. In the last 12 months, more than 69,000 people applied to join the ADF, representing an increase of more than 18% from the previous 12 months. For the financial year 24-25, Defence Force recruiting is forecasting in the order of more than 5,800 full-time enlistments. For context, Defence has not recruited more full-time personnel since the early 2000s. Additionally, there are more than 650 active applications from citizens of Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom and the United States who have applied since Defence launched the Non-Citizen Recruitment Initiative for permanent residents. As at the 1st of February this year, the separation rate from the permanent ADF is 9%, down from 10% in the previous year and below the long-term 10-year average of 9.7%. Our people are our most important capability, and these are promising indicators that we are beginning to recruit and retain the skilled workforce that we need to grow the ADF to achieve our national mission. Defence will continue to prioritise a culture that enables high-performing teams and that meets the challenges outlined in the National Defence Strategy. To generate that team and culture, Defence has actively sought to build a safe and respectful environment to support our workforce. This was clearly identified in the National Defence Strategy and drives our determination to implement the reforms the Government agreed to in response to the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide. Defence worked closely with other departments to support the Government's response on the 2nd of December of last year, just 12 weeks after receiving the final report. This was the result of a team effort across multiple areas of Defence, the Department of Veteran Affairs, Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet and other Commonwealth agencies. I commend them all for their dedication and focus. Defence has now established the Implementation Program Board, which I chair, to ensure that reforms are implemented thoroughly and with the urgency they deserve. The Board has agreed to the first 10 reform management plans and will continue to assess this work at pace, with direction from the recently established Commonwealth Task Force in the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet. The reforms agreed to in the Government's response are significant in scale and complexity, and this will be an enduring multi-year process that Defence and other departments commit to. If I turn to operations, the ADF continued a busy schedule of activity over the summer period. In December, the Defence Force facilitated the repatriation of 686 people and transported more than 88,000 kilograms of emergency stores and support personnel from across government as part of the DFAT-led response to the devastating earthquake in Vanuatu. The ADF also recommenced Operation Sudden Discovery, delivering essential equipment and supplies to Antarctica as part of our enduring support to the Australian Antarctic Program. Earlier this month, Defence supported the Queensland Government's response to flooding in the north of the state. Defence Force helicopters, alongside support from the Republic of Singapore Air Force, moved more than 200,000 kilograms of stores. The ADF also constructed a temporary bridge to enable critical supplies to communities that were isolated by damage to the Bruce Highway. Further afield, HMAS Brisbane successfully conducted a Tomahawk missile launch while exercising with the United States Navy in December. This follows Navy's successful firing of an advanced anti-air missile, the SM-6, and the Naval Strike Missile launches as a clear demonstration of our focus to enhance Navy's lethality. More recently, HMAS Hobart has undertaken a series of engagements with international partners during the first regional presence deployment for 2025. Hobart participated in Exercise Komodo, led by Indonesia, Exercise La Perouse, led by France, and a multilateral maritime cooperative activity led by the Philippines. These exercises demonstrate Australia's commitment and ability to maintain a regular presence in the region and work alongside our international partners to support security and stability. One of our maritime patrol aircraft recently experienced an unsafe and unprofessional incident while conducting a maritime surveillance patrol in the South China Sea. This incident with a People's Liberation Army Air Force aircraft posed a serious risk to the safety of our personnel. Australia expects all militaries to operate in a safe and professional manner to avoid the risk of serious accidents. Separately, Defence always monitors foreign military activity in proximity to Australia. This includes the current People's Liberation Army Navy Task Group, consisting of a Zhenghai frigate, the Renhai cruiser, and a Fuji-class replenishment vessel. The task group is operating south of Australia, having transited down our east coast. As of this morning, the task group is approximately 250 kilometres south of Hobart, travelling southwest. As has been publicly reported, the task group conducted 2 declared live fire activities, both outside of our exclusive economic zone on Friday the 21st of February and on Saturday the 22nd of February. Although the task group advised their live firing intentions at the time in accordance with convention, the absence of any advance notice to Australian authorities was a concern, notably that the limited notice provided by the PLAN could have unnecessarily increased the risk to aircraft and vessels in the area. In order to best minimise disruption to aircraft and vessels, notice and early promulgation of high seas firing prior to the activity would have mitigated these risks and is a best practice approach adopted by the Australian Defence Force. Defence is not aware of a notice to airmen or notice to mariners being issued by the PLAN for either live firing activity. The PLAN is entitled to exercise freedom of navigation consistent with international law. We will continue to actively monitor their activities as they transit near Australia. Lastly, Operation Okra, which has been Defence's contribution to the international coalition against Daesh, or ISIS, concluded in December of last year. Since 2014, the ADF deployed more than 4,800 people to the Middle East under this operation. Their commitment has been a clear demonstration of Australia's resolve to support international efforts against terrorism and violent extremism. I would like to thank every member involved in these important operations and exercises for their contributions. Their service directly supports Defence mission, and throughout 2025 the ADF will continue a robust program of activities and international engagement to defend Australia and our national interests. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks very much, Admiral. Now, on that note, I'm going to hand over to Senator Patterson.